Thanks for tuning in to our seller interview series. So today we've got an Amazon FBA business for sale in the home and garden niche. Created in September 2015, this business makes $10,449 per month in net profit, and the listing number for this business is 40978. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the businesses they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Sean.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, it's good to have you back on another seller interview here. I know we did one, I think about a year ago, if that's correct. Before we dive into the questions, though, I just want to give a quick summary of the business for everyone out there listening in. As I mentioned at the top, the business itself was built in September 2015, has a monthly revenue of $25,969, with expenses sitting at $15,520 for that total net profit of $10,449. Now, that is over a 12-month average, and included with the sale of the business is the Amazon listings, brand, and logo content, as well as the domain names. So all that being said, Sean, you and I, we've talked privately a little bit before, but for everyone out there listening in, could you just give them your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, for sure. So my first online business was a content-based website around the sport of lacrosse. And the way I first started monetizing that was with Amazon's affiliate program. And that was in 2014. I still own the site, actually. And I was monetizing with Amazon affiliate, and I started to actually look into products to sell. And I wasn't even set on selling products on Amazon. I just knew that I could make higher profit margins selling products. So I think, it was quite serendipitous. I talked to a friend who had just gotten back from doing the whole year-long time in Thailand, and he had told me about this Amazon FBA business model where you could ship products into Amazon's warehouse, they would house them for you, and then you could sell them on their platform. So it's really funny. It's this story, you've probably heard of this. I basically maxed out a credit card to buy I did some product research, found a product that fit a lot of the things I was looking for. It was lightweight, durable, non-electronic, good profit margin. And I maxed out my credit card to order, I think actually it was 500 units or something. And I had them UPS shipped to my door. And then I went on Amazon, slapped a shipping label on, sent them into Amazon's warehouse, and then they sold within a couple of weeks. So then I took that money, doubled down, turned around, bought 1,000 units, and then did the same thing once I sold out of those units. I didn't have enough money to buy enough inventory to stay in stock. So I was just turning around and just doubling down on the profit I was making to double down on inventory. And then, that first product went really well. And so I thought, hey, I'll launch a second one. So I launched a second product, and those are the two that are for sale right now.
Wow, that was amazing. You have personally financed it through credit cards.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bold move, but it sounds like it worked out well for you.
It has worked out well, yeah.
So for people maybe not new to Amazon FBA, maybe even new to acquiring online businesses, could you just briefly describe how Amazon FBA works and how you make money from it?
Yeah, so Amazon. One stat I always like to lead with is of any new dollars spent in e-commerce in 2016. So these are customers that were spending more money or had never bought anything online. For every new dollar, 53 cents of that went to Amazon. So
wow,
53% of all new e-commerce happened at Amazon. So huge company, they've gotten really good at logistics and shipping. So what they did was they opened up their doors and said, hey, to any of our third-party sellers, we now have warehouse and inventory space for you. If you want to send your products into us, anytime you are listed on our website and you make a sale, we'll grab the product, pick it, pack it, and ship it to the customer for you. And then we'll give you a nice dashboard to monitor your sales, monitor your inventory, take a look at your costs of sales, Amazon fees, and every month they provide you actually pretty nice reports on all of that. So all you have to do is take that report from Amazon, less whatever you spent on your product, and that's your monthly profit.
So, with that being said, obviously Amazon FBA can be very lucrative. You're making a fairly lucrative monthly profit with this business. Why are you selling the business? Why not just keep cashing those checks or keep growing this business?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I've thought about this, and my dad helped me realize this. He drew a parallel to the real estate industry. And in real estate, I mean, you've got a couple of different types of investors or portfolio investors, but you can break it up into two different camps of investors or buyers or real estate speculators, if you will. You've got the buy and hold kind of portfolio investor. They're looking to acquire properties, operationalize, systemize, and then maximize profit from them and acquire as many as possible. And then you've got like the buy low, flipper, sell it as soon as possible kind of real estate investor. And I'm the second one. Like, I like to build things. I like to flip them. I like to make money from them. And then I just get excited about different things and different business ideas. So I think this is a good business for someone who wants to buy and hold and expand it. But yeah, I've just got a couple of other business ideas. One of them an Amazon product that I'm just a little bit more excited about at the time.
Excellent. So you're looking to use this capital then to most likely invest into this third Amazon product and other ventures that you want to pursue.
Totally, yeah. And the third product is totally unrelated to the products I'm selling, Empire Flippers.
That makes sense. Entrepreneurs, especially I find digital entrepreneurs in general tend to like, there's so much opportunity, they're like, I see this over here, now there's this. And, it's hard to focus on everything at once.
Absolutely.
By the way, was this the business you funded on credit card or was that a different Amazon?
This is the business I funded on credit card.
Okay, so the trajectory then for this business, this first few weeks and months was pretty intense for you then. I'm assuming. Would you mind diving into that story a little bit further?
Yeah, well, like I had said, I got selling on Amazon. I got that first shipment of like 500 units in and wasn't really expecting to sell out so quick. So it was kind of a matter of like ramping up to the demand or the visitors or traffic that Amazon was getting for that particular product. Because I wasn't expecting to rank number one or number two on Amazon whenever you search for this product, but I did. And so, yeah, it was just meeting the demand for the customers and turning around, doubling down, getting new inventory. And I would say, too, it was where I started to kind of operationalize things a little bit. At first, I was shipping my products. I sourced from China, and I was shipping them via UPS. So my shipping costs were astronomically high relative to what they could have been if I was working with a freight forwarder, which is an international shipping company that will move your products usually on a sea vessel across the Pacific. And so I started to operationalize. I had a friend who is an Amazon FBA, and he suggested a freight company. So I started shipping them sea freight, saving myself thousands of dollars an order. And so, yeah, I just started to kind of operationalize and scale up.
I'm assuming UPS was air. Like you were.
Yeah.
Just switching from air to sea is amazing. It's like an instant bump in margins a lot of the times. Is there anything you learned from this business? Maybe that was it. Don't ship by air. But is there anything you learned about operating and growing this business that worked really well for you that you're going to be applying to your next Amazon product?
So I think that there's a lot of, in the Amazon FBA community, there's a lot of like smoke and mirrors and people thinking that you need to do all this voodoo ninja stuff to be a great Amazon seller, right? Like, oh, you must have to like give away 18 products on this day and then 32 the next day. And then you have to do a seance and then you have to like send all these links to your page. And it's like, no. I think that it comes down to, number one, just having the best quality product in your niche or one of the best, and then making sure your Amazon listing is awesome. And I think that number three, which should actually be maybe number one or number two after having the highest quality product you can find, is making sure your value is good enough. Like, what are you giving that person for the price? And those are things that I've kind of optimized over the, probably within the first few months of selling, kind of figuring out that perfect price that still yields a really good profit margin, but it's a price that customers are still very happy to pay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about that cross section, right? Is there anything you did with this business that didn't work? Maybe something that you thought was going to be successful that wasn't quite as successful as you hoped?
So I created a website for each of the products, thinking, hoping that I could drive traffic through the website and get sales that way. And I just don't think that that's worth your time at all. I think that it's helpful to have a website for the products because, especially a lot of these brands on Amazon, if you're a newer FBA seller, customers, they're not familiar with your brand. So they're going to find you on Amazon. They might be like, oh, who's this? Who's this brand? I'm going to go Google them. They'll Google them. You want to make sure you show up number one or number two for your brand in Google and basically use your website to validate their purchase and then have a link to send them back to Amazon to buy the product. I tried to do off Amazon sales, and I really just don't think it's worth your time.
It's a constant debate, I think if you're building like a big brand with like, dozens of products and maybe yes, but if you're just building several different, like a few different products, perhaps not even within really the same niche, then maybe not so much. Yeah, I mean,
Totally,
Amazon sending you
totally,
so much traffic already, you're better off just, making a new product, right?
totally. Exactly. Just the time that you would take to build out a site and try to do e-commerce sales on your own, just find a similar product to one that you're already selling. And I think that that's where you'll see some real ROI.
So, with that being said, moving to some traffic questions, I believe we already know the answer here. But are you getting all of your sales from like Amazon Organic and or like maybe Amazon PPC? It sounds like your sites aren't doing anything, and you're not doing anything outside of Amazon. Is that correct?
Correct. So yeah, all of my sales are coming through Amazon's natural search traffic. And I also have turned on and optimized Amazon's ads for each of my products. So my background is in SEO, search engine optimization, and kind of keywords, keyword research, and that kind of stuff. So the Amazon ads came pretty easy for me, and I have those listings pretty optimized. And those probably account for each month, I would say probably like 10% of total revenue from the Amazon ads as in relation to organic Amazon natural sales.
Okay. How many products do you have? How many SKUs are you selling right now?
Selling two SKUs.
Okay. Out of those two SKUs, do you find one is earning like the lion's share of it, or is it split pretty even between the two?
Yeah, it was really funny. I went and looked back at sales, was wrapping up my accounting books this spring, and one of them did like 10 or 20,000 in revenue higher, but one of them is a pretty stable month over month product. The revenue doesn't change much month over month. But then another one is a summer seasonal product. So that makes 80 or 90% of its revenue in like 3 or 4 months, which is right now.
Ah, interesting.
So at the end of the day, or within a calendar year, they actually make about the same in revenue.
That is interesting how that plays. Are both of the items smaller? Because I know if you have, and this might have changed, but I believe if your items are a certain size, you actually pay a little bit more for the FBA service. Is that correct?
Correct. Amazon categorizes your product based on standard size and oversized units. Standard size units tend to not be any bigger than like 3 or 4 pounds, a foot, any width or length or depth across. And both of my products fall under the standard size
Do
Amazon.
you have some kind of like methodology to how you reorder your products? Like, do you understand like okay, now I need to reorder because I know the demand's going to go up so much this month or whatever. Do you have that kind of like systemized, or do you still just kind of go based off your gut?
Yeah, I'm still kind of going off my gut. Or I should say, and throughout all of 2016, I was going off my gut. But now I've got a full year of sales data that I can fall back on when I'm not sure if or when I want to reorder in 2017. So that's been really nice. I can look back and be like, oh, I sold, 1,200 units of this product in June of last month. Let's go ahead and estimate a little bit higher than that because of year over year growth or brand growth on Amazon. And that's been really helpful. But at the end of the day, I keep it pretty simple. I just always want at least 3 months of inventory in Amazon's warehouse. And when I start to get close to that is when I reorder.
3 months, it's pretty good. If you were going to keep this business and you hypothetically you're going to grow it, what would be something you'd focus on that would be the least risky path to grow a business like this?
Yeah, so it's one of the blessings and the curses of building businesses and then wanting to sell them is I know everything that needs to be done to continue to grow it. I just, I don't think I want to do that right now. But to answer your question, it would absolutely be working with the supplier relationships that I've already built and taking a look at their product catalog and just going and on your next reorder of your product, go ahead and sell or buy a couple of their other best sellers that are in their catalog and list those alongside, with their own listings on Amazon under the brands I've already built. That's where I think that the best growth is. And then I would also say after that would be sticking with Amazon, but expanding to maybe their European marketplaces. The whole Amazon European marketplace between, I think that's like Italy, Spain, England, Germany, France. The whole EU market makes up the same size of the US consumer market. So that could be another opportunity to broaden sales with the existing products.
Are you just in the US market right now?
I'm currently only in the US.
Okay, cool. If you were incredibly risky, you just kind of threw caution to the wind, you wanted to grow the business just as fast as humanly possible, would you do anything different?
If I want to be as risky as possible, it would probably be figuring out how to get enough capital to make really large inventory purchases, but that'd be after or alongside trying to work my network or friends or whoever is possible to see if they knew anyone who managed or worked in corporate in merchandising for like a big box retailer. Because if you can work out one of those deals, you can make a 50,000 unit sale order, within a few weeks with them. And they're like, all right, get those 50 units to us. And you got to turn around and buy the 50,000 units and get them over to them. So that would be the riskiest path I would take. But it's just physical retail is a totally different animal.
It really is. You're right about those big numbers. I know a guy, he had an Amazon FBA business, and this person liked one of his products and started ordering it wholesale for her company. And like the test unit, like the test sample amount was like, I think 100,000 units. Something crazy like that. Like, oh, geez, man.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's definitely an opportunity there. Obviously, it could be quite risky with all the capital that needs to go into to produce that many. But yeah. When it does come to risk, current risks that you're facing right now with this business, what do you think the biggest risk is to this business that a buyer should be aware of?
I think that whenever you have all your eggs in one basket, there's a risk, right? So only selling on Amazon, that's a bit of a risk. But the money there is just so good. And I think that like working with Amazon in general, it's not a risk, but I think that you just need to stay up to date on their terms of service and up to date on what they are changing in their company because, they've been one of the fastest growing companies in the world or the world's ever seen. And they're only going to continue to do that. So the sellers that I've seen who are being risky are ones who just don't understand Amazon and their terms of service well enough. So if you just cozy up with Amazon and stay up to date on what they're doing, and then you can mitigate that risk of being a seller who only sells on Amazon. But again, to diversify, I would launch related products under the same brand and expand into Amazon European marketplaces.
The terms of service is definitely something that a buyer should pay attention to. And really, every Amazon FBA seller should be paying very attention to because you're playing in their playground and so on. When it comes to work required, what are you doing right now to maintain the business as is on a weekly and maybe a monthly basis?
Yeah, so ask any Amazon seller, but there really isn't much daily tasks related to this business. But that doesn't mean I don't go and look at my sales numbers daily. I would suggest everyone go and do that. So at the end of the day, let's say you spend 30 minutes to an hour just going ahead and looking at sales numbers, previous day's sales numbers, current day's sales numbers, and looking to see if you had any customers message you because Amazon wants you to respond to those messages within 24 hours. And then, so that's kind of a daily practice. And I would say weekly is about the same, but then monthly is where maybe just a little bit more time comes into play, and that's kind of inventory planning, taking a look at previous month's sales and seeing if it's time for a reorder. And then I'll have to double check, but that's kind of about it. I think I listed one other thing on the quarterly basis that you want to do. But as you can tell, there isn't tons of work to be done regularly to maintain this business.
That's one of the beautiful things about these businesses is so much of the work is kind of front loaded. If you just want to maintain it, it can be pretty hands off or minimal time investment on your part. Is there any skills you'd suggest that a buyer have before they purchase a business like this?
This might be a bit too condescending, but I don't know, understand how to use the basic, understand how to use email, understand how to use, I don't know if that's too basic. I have a product with a friend, and it's a food product, and we're a sole online distributor of this product online. And you'd be surprised in this industry how technologically behind a lot of these other distributors and sellers are. So yeah, I think just being able to understand how Amazon works, understand, be able to log into their dashboard and be able to pull these reports, which, that's something that can be learned pretty easily. I think that in overall understanding, I think if I could add one skill set to my plate, it would maybe be being able to understand financial statements a little bit better. If you can understand financial statements and kind of break down some of these products and their profit margins, then I think you could play with your reorders a little bit or shipping a little bit to maybe optimize that and save, a couple $1,000s here on a reorder, a couple $1,000s here on Amazon storage fees and things like that. But I'm not a true finance guy, but I think if you had some finance skills, that would help a lot.
Moving to some wrap-up questions, would you be willing to commit to a non-compete?
Absolutely.
And how much support would you be willing to offer that buyer?
I think that within the first month, there's going to be lots of questions that are going to be coming up from the buyer. So, I'd be open to hop on a call at any time, email, Skype, if that's what they need. If we need to take hours at a time to run through things, I'm totally down for that. And then after 30 days or after a month, once they kind of get a hang for it, I'm totally be available if they wanted to set up phone calls every now and again, just for, if as things come up. But it's not like I'm going to be selling and then, moving to a remote area with no cell reception. I'm going to be in the US, or at least, have cell reception and availability if they ever wanted a Skype call or email. But if the buyer doesn't want to have an ongoing relationship, that's totally okay.
That's great. No, obviously the best case scenario here for you and for Empire Flippers is someone comes in and buys this business for full list price. But with that said, would you at all be open to earn out say 80% upfront, maybe 20% over a period of a few months, or maybe after certain training goals are hit, something like that?
I mean, I'm really looking to sell it at its full list price.
Right, gotcha. I have one last question for you, Shawn. And before I ask that, I just want to give a quick summary of this business for everyone that was out there listening in. As I mentioned at the top of the show, this business was originally built in September 2015 as a monthly revenue of $25,969 with expenses sitting at $15,520 for that net profit of $10,449. That is over a 12-month average. Included with the sale of this business is obviously the Amazon listings, the brand and logo content, and the domain names are also included. You have one domain name for each product, correct, Shawn?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. So my final question for you is, what is your best pitch in 30 seconds or less on why someone should purchase this business?
Ooh, wow, that is the zinger.
The hot seat. No pressure.
Okay, so this is my third online business. It's probably going to be the hardest one to sell because it's been the most profitable. It's pretty crazy that, between just two products, these are pretty specific niches. These products are pretty niche. This business is set to do $350,000 in revenue, and that's almost, 50% profit margin. I think that, the opportunity to work with the largest e-commerce company in the world, work alongside them, have them do all of your shipping for you and do it cheaper than you ever possibly could is pretty great. And I think that's it. I think that, and lastly, I do want to emphasize that I will be around once the buyer buys to just smooth things over, be here for help, educate them on Amazon FBA, introduce them to my suppliers, and just make sure that everything goes well. Like, I want to see this business succeed.
I gotta say, I agree with you. It's pretty niche products. It's cool. Very cool business. I love the track record and like what the two products have done, and just how kind of hands off it is once everything is running smoothly. For everyone out there, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want more information, the link will be below this video that would take you to the marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the actual listing page and you want more information, you can become a depositor today. All you have to do is click the button, make a deposit, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. So Shawn, thanks so much for coming on, man. It was an absolute pleasure.
All right. Thank you, Greg.